All right. So, maybe you didn't ask for my opinion, but you're going to get it anyway. Since I'm not sponsored or have no affiliation with Yes Welder, I hope you enjoy my opinion and review. Well, I'm not yet anyway. Probably won't be after this video. Who am I kidding? Here and over there, I got this machine, and wanted to run it through the ringer, test it out, even let people come by, test it out that did come by, and my kids tried it out, etc. And with over 30 years of experience myself behind the hood, I hope you enjoy my opinion and review on this and find out if this is the right machine for you. I'm going to break it down into what comes with it in the box, something to compare it to. I have a 20-year-old machine here, 20 plus years old, and 25-year-old plus machine up here that I'll be comparing it to, as well as the likes and dislikes, which comes with failure points as well that I foresee in the future possibly. And who do I recommend this for, if I recommend it at all? So you're going to have to either skip to the end of the video or wait, which I hope you do wait and enjoy the whole video as we get through this thing to find out if this one is the right one for you, or is it just junk? Enjoy. The Yes Welder Mig 205ds-pro comes with a stick lead that we're definitely going to be discussing a little later on in the video. Welder setting chart. Oh, almost forgot. Operator's manual. Who needs it though, huh? Got wired in for a 220 plug. Comes with an adapter 220 to 110. Gas line. Just hooked up my old regulator and line to that to run the machine. Now, I'd never used the 110 until the first of the video, and you could see that it displayed the 110 up in the top right of the corner. Comes with 4 different rollers, each roller having 2 different sizes and styles on there, so should fit your needs. Pretty much every kind of roller you need for hobby and home use, that's for sure. Different consumables and a little wrench. Comes with a 2-inch hub and a 5/8 one as well, and I did confirm that it works. So you can run them little spools. So run them if you got them, they will fit. Got the lead and torch, nozzle, etc. Lead and ground clamp. A graphene liner for welding that aluminum. So let's get into comparing the machines. So I'll be comparing the Yes Welder Mig 205ds-pro to a couple old machines that I have in the shop, and I'll give you a breakdown on them real quick. They're American made, of course. This one here is over 20 years old. It's a Power Mig 215 220 unit. Has never had anything replaced in it. I've never taken it in for service. I have taken it apart and blew all the dust out, stuff like that. I have replaced the lead once for certain, possibly twice. I am not certain on the second time, but I know once for certain because it was my fault. I dropped the sheet metal right on that sucker and it tore into it pretty good, so I got that replaced. The top unit, boy, it is a unit too. I ain't kidding you. It's a WeldPack 100. It's a 110 machine. I don't think it's ever been taken apart, honestly. Let's look at these screws. I mean, look at the edges on. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think it's ever been taken apart? Go to some other screws, the handles and everything. So, as far as my knowledge, I don't think it's ever been taken apart, other than just blown out through the back. It has had the whip replaced, and I would say within the last 5-6 years, possibly, that has been replaced. This has been replaced in the past. You can see it's fairly black compared to the rest of it. The color is definitely different on the tensioner right there. So there is that. So let's get right into it, shall we? The Yes Welder. Oh man. Oh, I gotta fix this. The guys better like this one. You can see that, man. It's all metal compared to that plastic one that we've replaced on the Lincoln. It's all metal, and boing, 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 boing. Man, it has spring assisted. Look at that, boing, 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 boing. that thing's cool. It stays out of the way, so that way when you want to change out the wheel, I already took the thumb screw off, so I'm going to leave it off because we're going to be discussing that in just a few. You can take that wheel off easily, get it changed out, and yeah, get it right back to working. Whereas this one here, sometimes if you don't get it up enough, you're dealing with this thing and it's getting in your way, bothering you. You're already frustrated because you got to change it out. So there's that. But you can see the shaft has a flat spot in it. So you're just going to have to take my word for it. There's an Allen screw right in the center of that wheel, and you have to access it through the top right there to get to it. So it's really a pain. You have to line that thing up and get it lined up, because you can't just turn this with your fingers just because of how it's geared. You have to turn it on and pull the trigger and get it lined up within that area. So a little hassle. Now the newer ones may be different. I'm not going to compare it to the big machine as much because, well, I'll just let you look at it. I mean, just look at it. It's a lot different, so we aren't going to compare that. So the 2-inch spool here or 5/8 works, so a very simple change out on that machine, as well as the Welder, and I have confirmed and did test it out. It runs the 2-inch, or the 5/8 will just adapt right on there, so that's a positive there. Now go ahead and shut this down. Oh, no, you know what? So the Welder got 43 thousandths inch of thick on the sheet metal there. You can see my ding dong butt already put a ding in it, and but yeah, I could really put a hurting on it, and I'm not even really trying that much. But it has an edge here that they bent over. They broke it, so kept it a little stiffer. Whereas, I can go ahead and close it now. The Lincoln, 60 thousandths of an inch thick, quite a bit thicker, and I really have to put the torque on it to do anything. I don't want to, but you really have to put the torque into it. Pinching my cable. So let's compare the leads real quick. I have to compare the 215 lead to it. Right here on the right is the Lincoln, and the left is the Welder. So you can see very similar in size, as well as the torch head is very similar in size. So now where it gets funky is the nozzle cone. The nozzle cone and your consumables, well, I've already confirmed that they actually change out, and well, you can use just Lincoln electric tips or Tweco brand, whatever you decide you want to use in there, but they do fit, so they're the same style. So they made me feel comfortable that I knew I could get them at a hardware store. The handle is definitely smaller. Your torch head is definitely smaller on the Weld Pack 100 that I have, and this is, well, let's get into the nice stuff, shall we? All right, so right off the bat, we're going to start, well, right at the tip on the torch, and yep, the tip with the likes, and it's absolutely fantastic. It doesn't seem too bad what it comes with. I can go to the hardware store. I know the thread pitch and everything that I can get. I can replace them with the Lincoln brand that fits in there off of my smaller machine, as well as the nozzle here, so I can replace that cone. The diffuser seems to be up to standard. It seems all right. All the threads seem good, so insulator inside the cone from the one that it came with seems very nice. It seems like it'll work okay for quite some time. The jacket right there seems to be okay. It should hold up, I would hope, but it feels okay. When you first get it out in the package and you look at it, you're probably thinking, man, that thing's cheap. Looks like I'm gonna break that Crayola crayon in like 5 minutes. But I assure you, it's not too bad. It's really ergonomically, it fits okay. It's not too shabby with the one finger. I found that the trigger guard gets in the way, the 2-finger pull, in my opinion, and we'll get to that in a minute with the dislikes. But I do like the trigger guard for some occasion. It's a good idea. I mean, it's something nice to have, I guess, because there's plenty of times where it could bump against it and it's not going to hit that trigger, because it is pretty sensitive, and it does have a nice arc start to this machine. Here's what I'm used to, nothing there. Sometimes I hang it on something and it ends up, the weight of it will pull into it, or set it down and whatever. But before I know it, I have 4 or 5 feet hanging out there, and it touches on the prod project or whatever it is on the ground. It is grounded out, and well, now I have 4 or 5 feet of hot wire that I'm swinging up around my head as I yank it off and look like Ghost Rider or something. But enough about my stories. That is kind of a nice feature idea, I guess. But overall, it's pretty durable for what it is, and seems like it is anyway. And seems like that it may hold up, but we'll get into that with the dislikes as well. The insulation on here, man, it's really nice. I think this definitely is up to par standards, because with what this was brand new. I mean, mine's a little softer now, but it's old and used. Right where I like it too, man. I'll tell you what, old and used. But this thing's all brand new, and just it's crisp. You know, it's crisp. It's really nice. So let's put it this way. Enough of the old one here. We're talking about the likes on the machine. The digital display. We'll go ahead and turn this on. That's very cool. Very cool that you can select your different types of gases. You know, your wire speed settings, so very micro adjustment compared to these older machines that I have. So your voltage as well, and getting close here, you can see you can select your wire diameter. Okay, and then to your slew gun. And oh, this is I will say this is a real cool feature. I like this. This is nice inching. So instead of wasting your gas, you can push the inching without holding your trigger down and worrying about grounding out on your stuff, things like that, like I was talking about. So you can feed your wire through and everything, get it to where you need it. So there is that. I'll turn this off. Noise is moderate. I mean, it sounds just about like my old machine. Sounds like a machine would. Again, the likes I love, absolutely love the fact that this thing is metal. Everything seems solid in here. It's made of good stuff. It's not a bunch of plastic inside this area, because as I've shown you on my older machine, parts break when they're plastic, and we all know that. A lot easier. So I do like the spring thing that holds that up, and love that it's the 2-inch or the 5/8 hub size there on that. Oh, excuse me, getting old. The machine is very light. That is a very nice thing. It runs on 220 or 110. I personally have only ran it on 220 and just have only powered it up on the 110, so I haven't got to use it. Well, I think it's time to get into those dislikes, I guess. Well, a couple more likes, a couple more. I do like the connections. All the connections seem solid. Everything seems fine and dandy. This has a little bit of a warble to it, but I've checked inside. Everything seems okay. There's nothing moving around. Everything seems good to go. So there is that. It comes with the graphene liner, which is very cool. That's for aluminum welding. And, well, now it's time to get into those dislikes and things like that. All right, let's talk about the negatives. We're going to start right off with that trigger guard. Again, ergonomically, one finger feels all right, but you get the glove on, and sometimes you start holding a little lower, and your glove gets caught underneath of that thing. 2 fingers, ergonomically, it just feels so goofy. I can't get used to it. You have to hold it really high, and then it's like holding a baseball or something weird. I'm not a fan of the 2-finger, and personally, I like to hold 2-finger because I'll run long beads, and I don't want to get my trigger finger tired. I'll get it stuck here for a second. If you hold it too low, and you can see it gets kind of stuck there, you got to pull your finger out, and you can see it kind of pinched it up in there, and it'll pinch your glove in that little crack right there. You see how it's designed, and which is not, in my opinion, I think it's kind of a bad idea. And it also has a very sharp edge right there. So I dislike all that about that trigger stop. That's the only, I mean, it's pretty big negatives on that trigger stop. Going down to this little lock collar piece right here, it holds the bottom half of the torch head together. You got the screws at the top, unlike the style I have here has one at top and bottom. I couldn't find them on their site at all, so maybe there's something I'm missing, but I'd like to know if I can get extra ones of these, because these things tend to break sometimes and get damaged, etc. You can see you twist lock it on there and it locks in place, holds the bottom together. This one has damage on it already, and I assure you it's been replaced before in the past, because it's what happens. They get set on steel, and we work with steel, hot metal, things like that. And, well, right on to the ball. I asked my middle son while my friend was here after I just got done telling him what I think of it, and I'll tell you, my buddy chuckled pretty good, because my kid said the same thing I said. I said, what do you think about that articulation piece? He goes, it's gonna break. Well, I personally think it's a high chance that it's gonna break in the future. It's gonna get some grinding gunk in there. It may lock up, the articulation may not move so freely. In the future, it's gonna get a bunch of stuff in there, because we work with metal, we work with grinders, things like that. We're welding stuff, and we get junk, man, and stuff falls in cracks like that, and over time, something's gonna fail. Not only that, the articulation that you get, or lack of, that comes out of the handle, okay? So it doesn't really bend to right there. You lose quite a bit. Versus, I've been welding for quite some time, and it works just fine. So there is that. I don't see a necessary reason to have that, or the spring right here. I think spring would be even more beneficial down here to hold this in place. For example, if you ever seen my machine, she looks like a wounded war veteran. But you can see this little strap right here. So it's tied around, and it holds on to this because it takes a little bit of tension off, and that's why that is there. But I could see it being a little more beneficial out there than right there. So let's go ahead and put the old guy up. And enough talking about that. Let's get into the meat and taters down here. The thumb screw. Please comment down below with how long you think it's going to take before this thumb screw breaks off. Now, I'm going to use this thing as kind of like my daily driver. I'm going to even build some little trinkets out of it, and who knows. Maybe the closest one, we'll figure something out. But please comment down below and let me know how long it takes before that sucker breaks, because this is what I think is going to break before I have to make something and make it work inside this unit that holds that wheel on. So that's the biggest flaw I see in this whole thing, and it's a fine thread, so you have to really get it going, and then she goes. So that's one flaw I see, as well as the thin casing that it has. So dents and damages are so prone to this thing. Don't sneeze around it, please. It may ripple. There's that. The cables, I'm not fond of the cables at all. The ground cable, not very fond of. It is the same. I'm not going to mess with it as much as I have this right here. I've shown a few people this thing, but this is the lead to the stick. And it's really something. You can see it just ripples, and it's very loose. The jacket is loose on it. It is what it is. But let's talk about this part right here. I told you I was going to be bringing this back. Now, this may be just my personal piece that I got, but this is what I got. 300 amp, came with the unit, and you can see the bar is going to be on top right there. So completely covered in plastic still. So I'm going to have to clean that off before I can use it, because that's the contact point, the bar. Flip it over here, and the other side you can see dang near completely covered. Got a little crack going down the side, but I'm definitely going to have to clean that jaw off and get that out before I can use a stick electrode, and that's why I have not used that. So, well, as far as the bads, I think that's it. So let's get on to who I'd recommend this unit to, or do I recommend it? Is it junk? He's not a paid actor. He's my boy. But you don't have to take my word for it. You can take his too. All right, got my boy here, and he's used the machine. Have you used this machine?
Yeah.
Okay, you have. I've got to make sure. Whew, I knew he has. But what do you think about the Yes Welder?
I mean, it works good. It's cool. I don't know if it's reliable, but
Reliable? Okay, what do you think is the failure? What do you think? What do you recall?
I think the biggest flaw is in the little handle where it's got this cool little this little rotating thing.
Okay.
But I feel like that would break pretty easily.
All right. Do you feel it's only cool just because it's new? You never seen it before? That's why it's cool?
Well, that, and
okay.
I think from what you said, this is like kind of a cheaper welder.
It is a cheaper. It's less expensive. I'll say that.
So it might be really good for its price.
Okay. Okay. Well,
and it's got a couple of cool features.
It does have a lot of cool features, I think. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And does it weld good?
It welds pretty good from what I've used.
Arc start, how was it?
It was consistent, way more consistent than the stuff I used at my welding shop in my school.
Okay. And how was trigger pull and everything? Do you remember trigger pull?
It was pretty good.
Okay. Well, there you have it. And here's the rest of it. All right. So, do I recommend the Yes Welder, and who do I recommend it for? Well, yes, I recommend this welder. It's absolutely fantastic, to be honest with you. I've made fun of him in the past quite often, and honestly, it's not bad at all. I would not recommend it for that industrial welder, just blazing trails all day long, however, having fun and putting in the hard work. You know who you are. I appreciate what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. This isn't for you. I don't know the longevity of it. I don't know the duty cycle. I've only had it for a short period of time. I haven't had it for 20 plus years, but I assure you, I'm going to push the duty cycle on it for you and let you know what it can and can't do, because we'll see if we can make it smoke a time or two. I will treat it no differently, really, than my red machines here. You can see the dust buildup. That's what it starts, and that's what it turns out to be. So, it is what it is. Not a doctor's office, like I said. I don't recommend it for that mobile welder that's taking a unit and going from job to job to job. Not for just what I said, but because it's a thin case, not just longevity. The thin case worries me. Anything that protrudes out from the case is a catch-all and something I really, really worry about. I like my stuff smooth and as smooth as possible to the case so it doesn't snag on stuff as you're pulling it out of the truck or off the trailer, etc., off the flatbed, whatever the case may be. I could see it getting damaged. There's also stuff internally that parts that I see that could break that may reduce the longevity, but that's my personal opinion. Only time will tell on that one. Who do I recommend it to? The moment you all been waiting for. If you're sipping on a cold one right now and you made it this far, you got some rusted floor pans to weld up in your 6.7 Mustang, maybe an exhaust to do, some motor mounts, or maybe even have a press to make. You got some shop equipment and you want to build yourself a shop press. This is a fantastic unit. It'll weld from 024 wire all the way up to 035 in both MIG and flux, and I have put the heat down with it, so it will put the heat down and melt some steel. It absolutely, I'm impressed, I'll be honest with you. It's good. I would also recommend it for those people that go 4-buying, things like that. They have toy haulers, do UTVs, motorcycles. It's a great unit to maybe have on your camper or maybe in your toy hauler things, your trailer, etc. Make sure you lock it down. Like I said, if the case is thin, and I worry about it getting damaged and ruined that way, but it would be a great unit to use on occasion. I would also recommend it for beginner welders. Now at half the cost, now hear me out, don't jump to conclusions, at half the cost of a new unit of a red or a blue in a similar size, less than half the cost I should say, it's a fantastic unit. Now, I know you can go out there on the marketplace or somewhere else and get a used one for half the cost, but if you could get a used one of these, wouldn't you think that would be half the cost of that too? So we're not going to compare that. We're going to go with the brand new ones. If you were to buy a used one, that's great. Just make sure, one, you can weld yourself and you can test that machine out. This is super important because you got to make sure it works before putting a bunch of money out like that. I would hate to see somebody waste a bunch of money. Two, if you can't weld, have somebody go with you that can weld and test that machine out. If it's not a reputable seller, just you'll save yourself money, I promise you, by doing that. And if not, a new welder like this Mig 205ds-pro is fantastic for a new welder that wants to learn how to weld. Here nor there, I hope you like my opinions on this thing, and hope you enjoy my son popping in and me doing a little quick question on him. He had no idea. So, as always, you know the drill. Peace.